It is a great atmosphere, as you say, here in the North East for Sunderland versus Norwich City in the Barclays Premier League. And there is the Premier League music as the players do their final handshake formalities. It's a half-one kick-off, and I'm going to be listening to it on TalkSport. It's the first of 3 games that will be featured today. We're going to listen to most of this match until 3 o'clock, listen to the final 15 minutes. Then from 3, we're going to listen to all of Tottenham versus Fulham on BBC Radio 5 Live. And then between 5 and 6, we're going to catch the second half of Chelsea versus West Ham, also on 5 Live. And that is a 4 o'clock kick-off. So 3 Premier League games over the next 4.5 hours is bumper to bumper non-stop commentary, and it all begins here. So a great afternoon in prospect, the last one before another international break, and the weather is okay as well. We're heading out in a few minutes, so let's get it on. Well, I just showed you the players coming out the tunnel before kick-off. I watched the kick-off and then immediately headed out. 15 minutes have gone, and it's been all Sunderland, comprehensively all Sunderland, but it's still 0-0 here at the Stadium of Light. I've left the car at home today, and I've started out by just taking a gentle walk through these streets and eventually into the country. I'm just going to make most of today up as we go along, to be honest, but it's goals at the moment. Just over 20 minutes gone, and Norwich now starting to get into the game. They've just had a corner, and now they've settled down into this match. Well, we're just leaving the local neighbourhoods and are now moving into country lanes. And it's halfway through the first half, which equals a quarter of the match gone. And there's no speed limits now. Well, national speed limit. And we have the opening goal in this match. And the Sunderland fans are silent because it's the away team that have got it. And Wes Hoolahan has given Norwich the lead. And it's come from a corner. I think it's a header from a corner, in fact. So, the travelling minority from East Anglia are the ones celebrating. And Sunderland really know they're in a relegation battle now. 6 points above the drop zone, but losing this crunch home game. How will they respond after 25 minutes of this game? And they're sending off here. And Sunderland are the team that will play the rest of the match with a 1-man advantage because Norwich are down to 10 men. Mark Bunn, the goalkeeper, given a straight red for handling the ball outside the box, although it is very disputable if he did. But what a lifeline for Sunderland now with just over an hour left. Norwich down to 10 men here. Game on. Well, it's Lee Camp who's come on for Norwich as the second choice goalkeeper. And ironically, Wes Hoolahan, that gave Norwich the lead, is the one that's been taken off to deal with the new formation. So unlucky. And as you probably can tell, the rain is starting to stream down here. I don't know what it's like in the North East though. Penalty! And Norwich have just been dealt a further injustice by the referee. A handball, which, like with the goalkeeper being sent off, very dubious, has been given against the Canaries, and Sunderland have a chance to equalise. And Craig Gardner, who seems to have taken a lot of penalties for them recently, is about to take it. Well, this road is usually murder to get across, especially if you're a pedestrian. However, it's my lucky day today. No traffic in either directions. It's only because it's a Sunday, I know. Now, Gardner's about to take that penalty. And it's 1-1. The keeper went the wrong way and it's fired into the roof of the net. Sunderland are level, and all of a sudden have the rest of the match to play with that 1-man advantage. Less than 10 minutes till half time now, I think. Well, Sunderland, buoyed by that penalty equaliser, have Norwich camped back in their own half. But can they take a 2-1 lead before the break? 3 minutes of stoppage time have just been announced by the fourth official. And Sunderland continues to dominate. And on a positive note, the weather is slightly improving here. We've had about half an hour of rain, but hopefully the worst is behind us. The half-time whistle goes at the Stadium of Light, and Danny Rose just hit the post for the home side in the final few seconds of that half. It could have been 2-1, but it's 1-1 at the break. Join me for the second half in 15 minutes time, which in real terms is a few seconds time because it's the next video shot. You know what I mean though. Well, the second half has just got underway, and with the scores at 1-1, it's all to play for at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland starting the second half very brightly. And some odds I've just heard. You can get Norwich to win from here at 10-1. But Sunderland are odds on, as you would expect. Not that I'm an expert on odds. I'm not a gambling man personally. It's just a waste of money as far as I'm concerned. Especially if you're someone like me that is naturally a bad guesser. Oh well. 5 minutes gone so far here. 55 minutes gone. It's all Sunderland. Norwich holding on a little bit. There's still time though. And the incentive is with Sunderland to get the 3 points. Norwich coming back into it, but a good spell of play from Sunderland. A great bit of play which resulted in the goalkeeper tipping it over. And as a home side, especially with the one-man advantage, and also the fact that they're more in need of points than Norwich, all the pressure is on the Black Cats to win this. Well, we're 63 minutes into this, midway through the second half. It's been a good game. We've had a couple of goals, but as I said earlier, we're listening to Spurs Fulham from 3 o'clock. So all I can say is best of luck to Sunderland and Norwich for the last 25 minutes. But I'm now going to switch over for the first of 2 London derbies this afternoon, and what promises to be and what continues to be and what will be a great afternoon. Yeah, still 1-1 here. If anything else happens in the last half an hour in this match, I will tell you about it. Well, the players are out at White Hart Lane, and we've heard the Premier League jingle ahead of Tottenham versus Fulham. Everyone ready for another cross-London derby, and it's going to be a good game too. It comes up in a couple of minutes, so join me for that. Well, if you was wondering, this is the M53 motorway that we're walking under, and there's a railway line in the distance. Back to the match though. Tottenham already winning a corner on what is a very, very one-sided fixture. Fulham have only scored once in the last 8 meetings, and that was by a player that now plays for Tottenham, Clint Dempsey. Fulham never good away from home usually. Tottenham usually solid at home. Tottenham entering a golden era. It points to an easy home win. As does Chelsea, West Ham to be fair, who've beaten West Ham in 5 of the last 6 Stamford Bridge meetings in the Premier League at least. That's coming up in an hour, but we're going to bring you some action from that from 5 o'clock. Well, we're just going under a railway bridge here as part of the Merseyrail Liverpool-Chester line, and Easton Rake Station is on the left. So we're in Easton, which is Lower Wirral here in Merseyside, and we've walked literally 3 or so miles from home. It's been refreshing too. A bit wet, but a nice walk. By the way, goalless after about 5 minutes of White Hart Lane, but all Tottenham as you would expect. So no surprises in that respect. Well, we've crossed the road, and we're going to take a right in a minute as we walk through some random streets in Easton. I was going to go through the woods to the right, but it's just too wet and too muddy for that. I don't want to come back looking more brown than blue, if you see what I mean. At least my jeans are blue at the moment. And it's still 1-1 in the other game, by the way, between Sunderland and Norwich, and 10 or so minutes gone at White Hart Lane. It's goalless. So Fulham have settled themselves down after being on the racks for the first few minutes. Gareth Bale with a looping header effort, but not much else in terms of goal mouth action yet. quarter of an hour gone. There's still nothing new to report. 2 Premier League games in progress at the moment, which represents 190th of the entire fixture list for the season. In other words, 2 out of 380. Well, that tunnel there underneath the M53, I was gonna come from that way and walk across the fields, but it's too muddy this time of year as a fire engine is about to drive past. Pretty cute, that black cat there just perched on top of the bench. But on other matters, I have to say, the weather's, it's still spitting a bit rain-wise, but it's much better than it was. Still, in fact, a Fulham chance there. Berbatov could have scored, but still goalless. Just remember, there's 2 games in progress now, but another 2 taking place from 4 o'clock. And there's the M53 over there. Wigan, Newcastle and Chelsea, West Ham still to play today. It's a Fulham free kick. 90 minutes gone. And Dawson heads it away. Not that much to report, really. White Hart Lane, a ground where Tottenham usually score and the opposition often get on the score sheet. It's not a 0-0 kind of place, which is why it's always good to watch and or listen to matches from there. Well, they're into the 90th minute at the Stadium of Light, and there may have been no goals here, but the Stadium of Light has also seen no new action. It's 1-1 and it looks like it's going to finish that way. Sunderland have failed to produce in the second half, and it's going to be just a draw for them as it stands. Well, quite a bit of time has passed since I last spoke to you. We was walking through Eastham in Merseyside before, and it was 20 minutes in, roughly, to the Fulham-Fulham game. Well, it's been a while since I last spoke to you. We was walking through Eastham in Merseyside, and it was about midway through the first half of the Tottenham-Fulham game. Well, nearly an hour has passed since then. We're now into the beginning of the second half, the opening minutes of it. It's just gone 4 o'clock, and Chelsea, West Ham and Wigan, Newcastle have also both begun respective games in the northwest and southeast of England. I listened to the rest of the first half, and there were no goals that came confirmed. There weren't many chances, to be fair. We've had half time as we left Eastham. We left there around half time and have driven to here, and we're now heading south out of the Wirral. It did definitely finish 0-0 between. Sorry, it did finish 1-1 between Sunderland and Norwich earlier. And by the way, it did finish 1-1 at the Stadium of Light between Sunderland and Norwich. So the Canaries held on for over an hour but take a point away from the North East. Sunderland had a free kick, however, on the edge of the Norwich box in the final minute of stoppage time, but they couldn't make it count, and it finished all square. Very early update there from the Chelsea-West Ham game. That's goalless at the moment. And in the past 2 minutes, there's just been a goal at White Hart Lane. It took until the first few minutes of the second half to go in. It's not Gareth Bale. It's not Moussa Dembele. It's not any Tottenham player. It's Berbatov that's given Fulham the lead. That's only their second goal in, 9 visits here. It's a surprise lead for Fulham away at Tottenham. And whenever Berbatov has scored in his what is his first season at Craven Cottage, Fulham have never lost. And nearly a chance there. I think that could have even been 2-0 to Fulham, but it's 1-0 still to the away side. Tottenham 0, Fulham 1. An interesting story developing at White Hart Lane, and it will definitely blow open the battle for top 4 places as well. Man City lost yesterday, Tottenham are losing, Chelsea are playing now, and Arsenal won yesterday, Everton won, Liverpool still up there. It's going to be very interesting. 8 games in the battle for top 4 places at the end of the season. Hold on to your hats, there's a bumper 2 months left of the Premier League yet. Well, Wigan have just taken the lead against Newcastle just as 5 Live went to the DW Stadium for a report. Very well timed. Wigan 1, Newcastle 0. There you go. That's the score coming in just now. It's Wigan winning, Fulham winning. Chelsea West Ham is still goalless. And it finished 1-1 earlier between Sunderland and Norwich. Well, we're just about to get on to the M56 here. And by the way, after setting off from the house just after 1:30, spent literally about an hour and 50 minutes until 3:20 walking the streets, residential streets, countryside roads, you name it. And now from pretty much 4 o'clock until the end of this 10 to 6, part 2 of today's trip involves a drive along the roads. Yet again, hitching a ride with AJ, who's driving his white Volkswagen Golf this afternoon, and the weather remains dry too. No complaints. By the way, Chelsea have taken the lead, and it's Frank Lampard, another goal against his old club. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. That's just come in now. So we've had goals in all our games this afternoon. Ooh, ice cream van on the bridge up there. Did you see it? I certainly saw it. Ooh. Sounds like West Ham were denied a blatant equaliser. A great goal from Andy Carroll, but apparently it's been ruled out because of a push. I'll have to see it on Match of the Day 2 later though to clarify my standing on it, because my standing on it is that I haven't seen it yet. Tottenham have got 26 minutes or so to turn it around. They're losing at home to Fulham. A long way away from their 3-0 away success at Craven Cottage at the beginning of December. This is. It's a Karagounis free kick for Fulham, who've got 22 minutes to hold on to what would be a famous win for them and just about kill any remaining relegation fears. Fulham currently sit, I think, 8 points above the drop zone, 9 points above the drop zone, in fact on 33. They're going to be fine if things stay the way they are as we come off the M56 motorway. Yes. Goodbye M56. Well, it's still Chelsea 1, West Ham 0, but Spurs have only got 15 minutes to save themselves. It remains 1-0 to Fulham as we drive along rolling country hills and country roads. Well, we're just entering the town of Helsby now. In fact, you can just about see Helsby Hill if you look to the right beyond the trees. I'll just try and get a good shot for you. It's just up there, the hills. There's less than 10 minutes for Tottenham now. They are getting close to a surprise home defeat. By the way, we're just entering the town of Helsby here. Situated on the edge of a big hill. It's a very nice place. So, we're coming up. Well, we're just driving through the town of Helsby now. And Helsby station, train station's just to the left. It's a very nice town too, situated at the bottom of a big hill. I like this area. And once we drive through here, we then enter the next town along the way, which is Frodsham, which is also situated at the bottom of the hill. On a fine spring day, so happy days. Well, we're just heading out of Helsby, and you can see all the hills in the distance, the trees on top of the elevated ground there. Very great, beautiful countryside, especially in the summer. We're just entering Frodsham now, the second town in this part of West Cheshire. Chance? I think it was a Fulham chance as well, incidentally.
Yeah, it's on 60 as well down this bit. It's even a little bit populated, but then it becomes a sort of 30.
Less than 5 minutes left for Tottenham to hold on as we come up to another rail bridge. There is a railway line between Chester and Warrington that serves both Helsby and Frodsham, and this is the point where it crosses over.
Yeah.
And that area to the right, I just passed there, there's a very nice country park, which I was going to visit today, but due to different commitments, we haven't got time, and I'll try visiting there later on in the season. This is Frodsham proper we're entering, straight ahead. Well, this is the middle of Frodsham. Interesting street lights, Morrison's, just your ordinary town centre. As we stop at the red lights. And Tottenham are about to be stopped in their tracks as well, with just a couple of minutes of normal time. And Fulham are closing in on a famous win. Wigan and Chelsea are still winning in their respective home games 1-0. Although it's still the first half in them two matches.
There's the irony of just overtook that bike.
Yeah, the cyclist has got past us again. But we're about to overtake him, so there.
Well,
and the power of the motor car wins on this occasion.
it seems to, although often take to Texaco.
Still driving through Frodsham as we pass a Chinese restaurant. For anyone that's interested.
It's 1389.
Yes, I remember about a year ago, me and AJ were on another road trip and stopped at that Texaco on the right. Still remember that? Yes, I do.
Do you remember how much it was then, a year ago?
I've no idea what the petrol price was a year ago, but I imagine it was considerably less than it is now.
Yeah, what?
Shot! Oh, what a save! Mark Schwarzer, absolute world-class save. He single-handedly secured the 3 points for Fulham. What a save from their keeper. And you know it's Fulham's day now. And that should be it there. Fulham hanging on for their dear lives. One of the saves of the season, and we're just crossing the River Weaver here. Right. Well, as we stopped at some red lights, let me just show you. Oh, maybe not. But yeah, Fulham, thanks to a world-class save, look like they're going to hang on for the points. It's still 1-0 to Fulham then, and they're just about into stoppage time now. Herbie Manuelson, the Dutch international, coming on for Fulham just to try and grind down the clock as I edge closer to their first, I think it's probably going to be their first ever win at White Hart Lane in the Premier League. Just passing over the M56 here. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0, Wigan 1, Newcastle 0 in the other two games. So we're just going to turn left here, this left, pull over and absorb the final minute or two of this interesting game. You do sometimes get those big teams suffering surprise home defeats to the mid-table to lower table teams, and this looks like it's going to be one of them. So we're just going to find somewhere just before this bridge, after the maroon coloured van, to pull over for a bit.
Cheshire Police.
Yeah. Oh, look at that train! Look at that there. Perfect timing.
Just here.
Just here on the right, yes.
You can't even go any further.
This will do absolutely fine. Dimitar Berbatov looks like he's won the game. There's just a few seconds of stoppage time left. He scored a stunning goal to beat Stoke 1-0 in a game I featured a few weeks ago. And there's the final whistle. It's a home defeat for Tottenham. Disappointment for them. But Fulham are celebrating happy days at Craven Cottage by the River Thames after 36 points, guaranteed Premier League survival for another season fairly comfortably, and that will cement their place in the top half of the table as a Virgin Pedalino rushes over the bridge. I can see it at the corner of my eye peripherally. But Fulham have beaten Tottenham at White Hart Lane, and we'll bring you some action between Chelsea and West Ham in the second half. 2 more games still in progress, so some more action to enjoy yet. So just walking under the railway line, and the busy road straight ahead leads into Runcorn, at least left. If you go towards the left it does. That's a pedestrian path underneath subway, but we're just going to stand on this field for a few minutes and wait for a train to rush through, which is due in a few minutes time, because I'm sad and I'm looking forward to this. But even more than that, I'm looking forward to the second half of Chelsea versus West Ham United, which is coming up in a minute on 5 Live. They're off in the second half at Stamford Bridge as West London's Chelsea take on East London's West Ham United. Chelsea still hold the 1-0 lead from Frank Lampard, the former Hammer that got the goal. But what will the next 45 minutes bring? You'll find out. And you'll also find out if Wigan can hold on to what would be a crucial 3 points in their survival bid. They're winning Newcastle at the DW Stadium at the moment. So it's just gone 5 o'clock and we're into the final quarter of a fascinating 4 hours of Premier League football this afternoon. Now here comes the Intercity train. And there it goes off to London. Right, and just as I walk away, let me just tell you, it's as good as game over for West Ham now. It's 2-0 to Chelsea, and it's a wonderful goal from Hazard on his left foot. The Belgian taking all the plaudits. Chelsea 2-0 up. That should be it now. Just the start that they wanted, and Chelsea didn't. Just the start they wanted, and West Ham didn't to the second half. So it is 2-0 at Stamford Bridge with about 36 minutes to go in it. Well, we're now into Preston Brook, a beautiful little area just south of the M56 and by the West Coast Main Line proper. The line that I just showed you before is just a Liverpool branch of it. So Chelsea still 2-0 up here over the Hammers, and it's 1-0 in the other game. Nearly an hour gone, and it's going to be interesting to see how the final 30 minutes pan out. But it's turned out to be a good day for Chelsea so far, especially with Tottenham losing. The Blues are on course to go third if they hold on to this lead.
That's an O2 Colne Centre, by the way.
It is.
Yeah.
Very modern building, glass panelled walls on all sides, allowing natural light to flood in. Well, that's the car that I've just got out of, that white one, driving off. Yeah, he's just going off somewhere nearby to do some filming for half an hour, and I'm going to stay here and do my own filming. So there's about 20 minutes left, in fact 22 minutes left, halfway through the second half at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2-0 up and well on course for 3 points. As we come into the final hour of this epic 4-hour full Premier League game afternoon. And here we are back in Preston Brook, a place I visited a couple of times at the beginning of the season. One of my favourite areas this, and it's good to be back again. And hopefully again in April too. So the West Coast Main Line is what we're just about to cross over. In fact, let me just show you a quick view of it. There it is looking south. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go over there where that Fiat van is and turn left and head towards the canals. So as we pass under the broad M56 motorway, Chelsea are in cruise control, nearly going 3 goals up, but Joey O'Brien cleared off the line, denying Hazard his second of the afternoon. Not a vintage day for West Ham, but they'll be back, and they should survive. Over at Wigan, there has been a second goal, and it's not good news for the Latics because Newcastle have equalised 1-1. Well, into the final 10 minutes of Stamford Bridge, Chelsea just going through the motions. West Ham nearly got one back a few minutes ago, but it's been a comfortable afternoon for the Blues, in all fairness. As Juan Mata goes off to a standing ovation. Definitely the player of the season for that club, if you ask me. We think it's still 1-1 at the DW in the other match. Earlier, Spurs lost at home to Fulham 1-0, and Sunderland Norwich was 1-1, of course. And the weather's not bad as we walk through this part of the Cheshire countryside. Well, here we are at the same level crossing that we came to on the opening day of the season. We were here at the beginning of and towards the end of Chelsea's opening match when they won 2-0 away at Wigan. They're about to beat West Ham by the same score with just a few minutes left. So double irony, the same team and the same score, although different opposition. Here's the train. Smashing, look at that. Beautiful. Virgin Voyager there off to Birmingham New Street. Brilliant. The final few minutes now at Stamford Bridge. And that is where I'll conclude this weekend's video. Firstly, let me just go over yesterday's results briefly. In the big relegation match, it finished Aston Villa 3, QPR 2. Southampton went on to beat Liverpool 3-1. It finished Swansea 0, Arsenal 2. Arsenal's first win at the Liberty Stadium in the Premier League. Both second half goals. And Stoke West Brom, surprise, surprise, goalless. In the evening match, Man United closed out a narrow 1-0 win against Reading. the result everyone expected, not quite the margin. And today, Sunderland-Norwich was 1-1, Spurs 0, Fulham 1, and Wigan and Newcastle was 1-1 with a couple of minutes left, and West Ham losing 2-0 at Chelsea, as we heard. So thank you for joining us on the 16th and 17th of March. It's been a great weekend, some great trips. Today, of course, we spent the first half of a 4-hour blockbuster afternoon walking our local streets. Then got a ride with AJ, and we've just driven into West Cheshire and enjoyed a bit more countryside. So a great afternoon all round. See you in 2 weeks on the 30th, 31st of March, the Easter weekend after the international break. Cheers.